Michigan welcomes endangered trees from Florida. This is episode 36 of the ongoing video series of Torreya Guardians. The map at the right shows the two endangered trees are Florida Torreya and Florida Yew. Both are subcanopy trees, and both were stranded in their tiny peak glacial refuge in northern Florida. We citizens began planting Florida Torreya northward in 2008. Fred Bess achieved seed production at his home in Cleveland, Ohio, beginning in 2018. In this half-hour video, filmed on site August 2023, Connie Barlow, that's me, films Paul Camire's plantings of Florida Torreya and Florida Yew in Capac, Michigan. The video begins. Okay, Paul, tell us about this one here.
This is one of the seedlings that I planted back in 2017. It put on a first shoot of growth like May, June time, late May, early June. And then now it's sent out quintuplets here from the very top. Usually the second growth takes place mid-July into the beginning of August.
Oh, and this is the one that had bleached out back in 2018.
There was a large ash tree that fell, so there was an opening, and the foliage got sunburned, whited out, and then it fell off, and this is what we have left now, and it's got a little more spindly, but it's starting to branch out more that it's getting taller.
So this is where the not frozen during the winter, but burn when the ash trees came down.
Yep, because it was during the summer that it happened. So later on in the season, it developed the buds for all of these, and they sat on there all winter. But in the meantime, all the needles from the top layer, because that was the ones that was burnt first, they all fell off during the winter time, but they were bleached white. So then you can see that those ones protected the next layer of growth, and they still have somewhat of their dark green, but the ones that were exposed a little bit more, they were burnt to touch by the sunlight.
Is every single branch surviving with new growth coming out of it?
Every one but this one. Oh, yep, it was on there.
Okay.
Every one but that one.
Okay. Wow. So even in a natural forest, if a canopy opening happens too quickly and fully, it'll bleach out, but it didn't lose any branches, right? Those are all...
No, I mean, it's cut the lower branches as it's grown.
Yeah.
You can see that they're freshly dropped, the bottom ones.
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
look down, you can see the scars there, but it's just going upward more.
So whenever you see a bleaching or bronzing, you go, it'll be back.
Yep, you give it a little bit of time, and typically it recovers by midsummer.
Wow, that's fabulous. Okay, let's get to the next one.
All right, the next one's right over here. And this is another one that was planted in 2017. This one had...
How tall was it in 2017?
Probably about half the height it is now. But this is the one that was eaten by deer multiple times because it wasn't caged.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my original experiment here.
Yeah. What's going on here?
So this one was it was a seedling half gallon. It was a little bit smaller than the rest. But the deer came through and they nipped it off a couple times. So last year it set the growth back up, but then they flipped over the cage and kind of took a few more nippings off of it.
What season did they flip over the cage?
It was this year between March and April.
And is that when they're the hungriest?
Yes, typically.
Wow, so they flipped over, and this is like a pig wire cage, right?
Yep.
So what my hand is on here was the cage?
Yep.
And they flipped this over?
Yep. I didn't have it staked down or anything yet, but they flipped it over.
And so now you have it staked down?
Yeah, it's staked down, yep.
Wow. Well, looking at this,
it's actually got buds all the way up the stem.
Yeah.
There's one right there.
I think this is going to be just fine.
Yep.
it'll be set back. And look, you got an apical coming out of there too.
Yep, it's coming right down there.
So you got
It
some
does.
laterals, apical.
So it
Yep.
could be a multi-stem tree once it's said and done.
Yeah. I tell you, this Torrey genus is just patient and willing to keep trying. And how many, what did it do this year? That top area, obviously.
Yeah, that top area, it had this shoot up, and then it's got one lateral going out, but it's also got multiple leaders coming up here.
Oh, multiple leaders.
Yep,
How come?
coming up.
What do you think?
Just how it's adapting, I guess.
Yeah. No basils?
No basils, nope.
Yeah. Wow.
They're all just coming off the main stem there.
Yeah. Isn't it great that they're just patient? It's
Yeah, I'd say this one was the most severely eaten back because it was multiple times.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, this is the third one that was planted in 2017. And this one's never had any damage. It's been doing quite well. And it's just been slowly but steadily growing larger. It's got the same type of growth, except it has triplets coming out from the top. But it did one terminal and then shot out from there.
Wow. And so you said this is still the 2017
Yep, this
planting?
is the 2017 planting, yep.
Did this one escape deer the whole time?
Yes, this one was caged and the first one that we looked at.
Wow. Wow, so it's got a triplet on top and then a quad down.
Yep.
Every year do you get an up and a vertical and then followed by laterals, or sometimes
Yep.
do you have laterals first? Or
For here, usually I have terminal comes up and then the laterals end up at the end of the year.
Okay.
But the second flush is more laterals.
Right. Okay. All right. Now, do you have any ash oh gosh, what's this baby ash doing?
Yeah,
Look at them.
baby ash, yeah.
So what's going to happen to them, Liz?
They slowly get eaten by the deer. And,
Oh, look at them all.
yeah.
These are, okay. Do you have any trunks of ash still around, or did you use them all for firewood?
There's one that's partially falling here, and then some of these are ash.
Oh yeah, I can see from the bark.
Yep.
Yeah, this is, and again, what's the canopy here? What do you have?
There's red oak, American linden, sugar maple in this section. Those are the main ones. And then there's swamp white oak mixed in as well.
Oh yeah, because you've got those marshy areas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we were just at this one, and here's number 4 right over there.
Yep, number 4. This one had deer damage, severe deer damage as well. But
Wow.
it's making a better recovery than the other one, actually.
Wow. So how tall would you say that is now?
I'd say it's about 16 inches tall now.
Yeah, does it have any basils?
Nope, this one has no basils as well.
Do you have any hypothesis about that?
I think they're more trying to get their main trunk up further.
Oh, sure.
And get more sunlight than they are worried about basils, probably because they're still doing well.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting enough nutrients and everything else.
Yep. That's nice. And these cages, they're sturdy now, huh?
Yeah. I'll have to get a taller one for this one eventually, but...
Okay, well, Point, what direction do we do next?
We're going to head further to the south here. And then I'll also show you the Florida Yew that I planted.
Oh,
in the winter.
good.
All right, so this is a Torreya that I planted out here in January. This plant I received from Clint back in 2018, I believe. So I just finally moved it out here, and I planted it with the Florida Yew just as a indicator to see both similar conditions. They're planted about 20-25 feet apart, and it's very happy. It's put on quite a bit of growth this year. It's got quintuplets coming out as well from the top.
Wow. Now, talk about this cage. This is like, my
So
Lord.
this is what I'm resorting to now with the deer. The deer population is just very high here, so this is the only thing that'll hold them. I've had many cages knocked over, even the big ones, and this is about the best way. And
even though you and your family and friends do hunting to control the deer, there's no way you can get enough.
No. Each of the does, they're having 2 babies, up to 3 sometimes each season. Even if you take 8, 9 deer a year out of a farm, they just move in from another area. And this year, the numbers look higher than I've ever seen. I mean, they're out in the daylight. Normally, you wouldn't see them till the evening, but now it's just they're everywhere.
Wow. Okay, I'm taking a close look at here. This is beautiful. So this has never experienced any problem with too much sun or any deer.
No. And this actually went from a full sun location at my home and then moved out here into this. It's got partial sun filtering through from the canopy. And
oh yeah, I see a little bit right in there.
Yep.
Yeah. And how do you not have problems with rodents doing anything to it?
There must be something controlling them somewhat.
Yay! Maybe, do you have foxes, coyotes?
Yeah, there's fox, coyote here. Yep.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. So point the direction of the yew?
Directly behind you is the Florida yew.
Okay. Okay, who's this, Paul?
So this is the Florida yew that I received back in January, and we had a mild enough winter so the frost came out of the ground for a spell, and I planted it then, and it's done quite well. Same condition as the Torreya we just saw.
So you picked this up this winter, and what month did you put it in?
I planted in January.
Oh my, a Florida yew in
Florida
January?
yew planted in January.
And it had been a germinated and was a seedling in what state?
Yep, from Florida.
Oh my Lord!
Yep.
And it
From
could
a
make
nursery. Yep.
it could make it through with all its leaves.
And it's probably put on about 6 inches of growth, roughly.
Wow! What part of it would have been exposed to the coldest above the snow?
I think the most we had this winter is probably like 5 or 6 inches.
Oh.
So there was still at least 6 inches exposed.
And so even the top leader did okay?
Yeah. Yep. That's.
Do you have any estimate now of how many growth spurts this will make in one season?
It seems like it does 1 or possibly 2 as well.
Yeah.
Because as you can see, it's starting to put out some laterals as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to have a definite terminal shoot, a leader.
Oh. Oh, this is probably a rooted branchlet.
So it's possibly a rooted branchlet. Yep.
Yep. So you just have one?
Yeah, I just have one. Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to get another one
I
or
know,
two or three.
It needs a friend.
Sure does. Yeah.
It's kind of just an experiment to see if they would even make it, I guess.
Yeah, well, this is just beautiful. And even though it's not going to grow tall, you got a monster fence.
Yeah.
Whew, whew. So all your plantings henceforth are going to have these monster fences?
Yeah, any of the torreyas or yews that I plant, they have to have this fence around them.
Yeah. How deep is this stake sunk in?
It's probably about 8 inches, 10 inches deep.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so point in the direction. Where do we go next?
We're going to head southwest and head over to the ones that we planted last time you were here.
Oh, good.
In 2019.
And we should have a breeze there, fewer mosquitoes.
All right.
All right. Okay, what's here?
So this is my American chestnuts. I got my seeds. They're pure Americans from the American Chestnut Cooperators Foundation. So they're based out of Virginia. These have been grown here for probably since 2016, 2017 roughly. I lost a couple because of some of the areas where I planted them, they got a little more damp than I thought. So they probably died from some type of root rot disease. But these two over here are doing decently.
Yeah, I'm going to go a close-up on this now. So how old would these be?
So I probably planted them in 2016 from seed. So they're probably 6 years old, roughly.
Yeah, why are they still so small? I thought they were like the tallest tree in the canopy back in the day.
They will be someday.
But they're
once there's usually an opening in the canopy, then they should skyrocket. They should take off.
Well,
being in the sub-canopy, they're just kind of making it.
Yeah, I was just reading something and was surprised to learn that tulip tree is the tallest now because chestnut's gone, and if the tulip tree, the Liriodendron, doesn't have sun to begin with, it's done.
Yep.
But I had read that the chestnut can actually act like and be a subcanopy tree like the maples can.
Yep, and this one's doing it.
Yeah. All right, let's continue. Paul, what's going on here?
So this is one of the torreyas that sprouted from the Medford seed back in 2017.
So how much stem do you have left?
It's probably about 3 inches left.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So talk to us about this one.
So this one was eaten down multiple times. It's recovered about 6 times from herbivores. Usually it was some type of small rodent was getting it.
What year did it actually germinate above the surface?
I think it was 2018 or 2019.
And did you see this one last year at all? When did it stop?
Yeah, it was still alive last year. Even this spring it sprouted a little bit, but now it's pretty much done because it hasn't grown again. Usually if they get eaten sometime around April, then they don't come back.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a funny time of year. I don't know if it uses up whatever they have left from the winter or something like that.
Wow. So, okay, I see you've got a fence here, but how did it get nibbed so many times?
I think the first time was deer, and then because a tree branch came down and knocked the fence over.
Oh, sure.
And then after that, it was some type of rodent getting in there and eating them.
Yeah.
I'm assuming some type of squirrel or woodchuck or something.
So this happened maybe every year until the last?
Practically, yeah.
Jeez. Well, this gives me hope. It's good to actually get something like this because it's not until we get something where we know the limits that we can say.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, let's continue. Okay, Paul, who's this?
So this is one of the seedlings that you and I planted back in 2019, last time you visited. As you can see, it's done quite well here. It's probably put on a good foot of growth, roughly, from when we planted them.
And does it have one leader? What's the situation there? It's really bushy.
Like it's actually sending up another terminal right now. It has one leader coming up.
Yeah, I see that.
I think there's 2 basal sprouts on this one.
Wow. So how is this one doing so well? Is it getting more sun? What's the deal?
It's a little more open spot in the canopy right here, in between these 2 oaks, and I think just that little bit of extra sun is helping it out quite a bit.
And did you know that? Is that why you decided to try planting here?
Yeah, you and I walked around, we kind of picked out a few spots that might have some potential, and that's where we planted this one.
Wow, okay. So how many more do we have that are growing from
this?
There's
3 more from that group, so because we planted 4 seedlings total at that time.
Okay, and point the direction and then where the field is here.
Okay, so this is directly to the south.
Okay.
And this is the opening, that's where the neighbor's cornfield is. And then we're heading in a western direction along the trail here.
Okay, so this is the most protected from north cold winds.
Yes, yep, this is the most protected area.
Yeah, okay, let's continue. Okay, Paul, who's this?
So this is the second one of the group of 4 that we planted in 2019. It's probably put on about 6 to 8 inches of growth from the terminal shoot this spring into the summer. And now it has 4 quads coming out of the top, and one of the quads has an additional lateral coming off of it.
Gee, and I can see the dark green, very long needles.
Yeah, they're
on
very
that
long needles.
newest part of the leader.
Yep.
So what's your estimate here in Michigan about when the terminal bud in the spring actually starts going up, and then when you get a second flush of laterals coming out from that?
Usually the buds start swelling the end of April into early May, and then usually by the end of May they'll start shooting up into early June.
Wow.
But usually my terminals sprout first, and then the laterals typically come off sometime in July, end of July roughly, but these are a little bit ahead of that, as you can see.
Yeah. So is this your biggest, happiest one?
No, I think we have one more that's larger than this one.
Okay, is that what we go to next?
We have one more in between that one.
Okay, so we're going to head off.
That one's just right here, actually.
Oh, okay, so it's right up against the south-facing part of the forest, the cornfield this year.
Yep, so this one is a little bit more shaded than these 2 over here. There's not really an opening in the canopy like they have. And you can see the difference in growth is quite a bit, since they were all roughly the same size when they were planted.
Okay, I can just walk over right here. Take a look. Oh my gosh, yeah. Planted about the same time, and this one is much smaller.
And the interesting thing, it's almost getting ready to send out another round of growth. You can see the buds are expanding on the top of the terminal there. They're starting to swell.
Really?
Yeah.
Do any of the other ones have that?
Not that I've seen yet. But every once in a while I do get that late August, early September shoot of growth.
And they're able to harden up before the frost?
Yeah, just in time. Usually, it's like by mid-October.
So have you ever had any frost damage?
No, no.
Here in Michigan, zero frost damage?
Zero frost damage, yeah.
Jeez.
The only thing we would get is the winter wind damage. That's about obviously like the desiccation of the needles.
Right.
Other than that, it's
like Fred Bess got for
exactly.
his first planting.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so this is your lushest one that you have.
Yeah, this is the last one of the 4 here.
Yeah, and the leaves are so long on these. Really, but again, you were planted all 4 of these where you thought it might work well. Now we've got that beech right behind us.
We're actually surrounded by beech trees here.
And the reason we put this in, I remember this. This was the ash. It had just fallen a couple weeks earlier, hadn't it?
Yeah, it did, yep.
Yeah, look at that. And look how much it's rotted already.
Yeah.
Oh, here you can see the bark beetle in there.
Yep, all the emerald ash borer tracks from the larva.
Yep, yep. Wow. So let me look up at the canopy here. Look at that. Oh, wow. Yeah, you do have some blue up there.
Yep.
My gosh, your trees are really tall.
They are really tall.
Okay, so is this our last one, or do we have more to see?
There's a few more to see on the trail that are smaller.
Yeah, but I'm gonna.
But this is probably the most lush growth one.
Yeah.
This and that probably the first one we saw by the oak tree.
Yep. And so again, we're right off the edge of the south facing here, so it's protected from the worst of the winter winds. Here's a beautiful small beech here. Okay. So which way are we going to go next?
We're going to head further to the west here. So I gave this tree up for dead actually. When I checked on it in March, it was fine, and then April, the entire thing died back from the top, and I thought it had died because of some rodents eating the roots. I'm not sure what happened, but now it's sprouted this in the last couple weeks. Because I haven't been over here since then, and it was still dead then. And this is actually one of the seeds I planted from Medford, Oregon. This is the last one that's alive, actually.
Wow. So this is the only remainder of the 2016 Medford, Oregon harvest.
Yeah, and this one actually it's starting to set out laterals, and it was starting to head up. It was growing quite well. But I had one that was right next door that I assumed died because of voles.
Okay, you mean the bark eating or root eating?
The root eating, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, what could have possibly taken it down in April that much?
I don't know, actually. I'm very surprised. This one's a new mystery to figure out.
Wow, but you know, it just exemplifies that Tori's going to find a way. Don't give up.
No, definitely not. That is so exciting.
Yeah. Boy, these mosquitoes aren't giving up either.
No.
All right, is this our last one, or do we got more?
There's a few more stragglers. I want to show you one by the creek.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
Okay. Paul, what are you doing here?
So, here I'm pulling back some of the grass that's come up around this Torreya. It's planted in an open, exposed area here by the creek. It was kind of like a full elements test to see how it did. The ones on each side of it didn't make it, but this one's been surviving quite well.
Okay, now I'm going to do a close-up here. First of all, there's the creek back there, and this is like a channeled waterway.
It's called the South Branch of Mill Creek.
Okay, and this was full sun experiment, and despite all the shading of the grass,
yeah, it's in here.
There we have it. Oh yeah, there. I see part of it there.
Okay.
Yeah. Does it have a leader on it?
Let's see here. Oh, it does. Oh, well, okay. So it's got the main trunk here. Looks like it's been eaten or broken off.
Oh.
So it's got some sprouts off of that, and then it's got 2 basils here.
So what I'm seeing there are the 2 basils.
These are the 2 basils that each have leaders.
Oh, sure, of course. The basils will definitely make.
Yep. This one's got a terminal going up. This one's at the lateral stage.
So if you can get it to the point where it's actually above the grasses and protected from the woodchuck you just saw,
Yeah.
then this would be the one that would probably make cones first, male or maybe female cones.
Yep, it's got potential to go on from there.
Yeah. When was the last time you checked this?
In the spring, April.
Yeah. Oh, that's before the grass.
Yeah, before the grass. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And look at all these. I'm just showing these beautiful flowers. This is for the slope, for being able to get down.
We got sweet coneflower.
Oh. Oh, what are these
bee
mints?
balm.
Oh,
Yep,
bee balm.
bee balm. Yep.
Yeah, the purple.
Yep.
Yep.
Monarda fistulosa.
And you got Queen Anne's lace?
Queen Anne's lace. There's some goldenrod.
Oh yeah, good.
There's some blazing star down here. There's some big blue stem, little blue stem.
Do you get any fish out of here?
Yeah, there's fish in there, yep.
But like anything you'd eat?
There's rock bass.
Oh, wow.
Yep, there's a few different species. There's a lot of, you see a lot of carp and catfish in this creek.
Right, and what is the main river it ultimately dumps into?
It goes to the Black River east of here, and then from there it goes out to Lake Huron.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so what are these pots?
So these four are from seed that was germinating that Fred Bess sent me during the winter. So I kept them potted up in the basement and I brought them out in the spring. The smaller one came up a little too early out of the ground, so it got frosted by the last cold spell we had. And then it resprouted after that, but these three came up on their regular time. And then this is a Highland seedling that I got seed from Clint or Jack a couple years ago.
The Highlands one, you know, that's really special. They never collect very many seeds there because they're mostly in the shade.
I think I got 4 or 6 seeds.
And you've got one that survived.
I got one that came up, yep.
So what year was the seed harvested?
So it was 2 years ago.
Okay, so it went through 2 winters.
Yep, so 2021 I think.
And what about these 4 here?
When did Fred sent them to me in the winter, so I'm guessing he had them a year before that. I just got 2023 on my tag.
And how many seeds did he send you?
He sent me 8 or 9, but 4 of them were germinated already, and the other ones are in a pot, but they haven't germinated yet.
What would you estimate the height is there?
It's probably at least 8 inches.
Wow.
8, 9 inches.
And when did they start showing above ground?
It was in early May.
Early May they started showing above ground.
Yeah, but that's
all of them?
That's probably because I had them in the basement though, so it's not the normal time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Usually it's like late June, early July when they'll start coming out of the ground here.
Yep. No, that's beautiful. And so again, these are from Fred.
Yeah, these are from Fred.
And this is the Highlands one.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, wait, that has a new growth coming out of the top again?
Yeah, sometimes they do that. This one's the same way. I think all of them are.
Oh gosh, yes.
Those 3 are. This one's just, oh, actually something nipped it off. It must have had new growth as well.
Yeah, okay, so here in Michigan, pretty much we can count on early growth spurt and then another one.
Yep.
If they've got sun.
As long as you have rain and sun, you should get a second set of growth.
Yep. Yeah. All right, we're right by the south side of your house here, south-facing porch. Paul, tell us about what we've got here.
This is kind of like a little nursery where I keep some of my plants till I get them to height enough to plant out. So I have torreyas, birches, some oaks, white spruce, petalpas.
Show us each of the torreyas and what provenance they are.
So the first one up here I got from Fred Bess a few years back.
And this one's been nibbled.
Yeah, deer nibbled on that one.
And that's because here's the edge, and you say deer come along here.
Yep, they come along here, yep.
And so they kind of reach in here, but they're not willing to go this close to the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about these other ones here.
So,
wow.
There's roughly 30 torreyas here. A lot of these I got from Jack Johnston back in 2019, 2020 when I visited him. And then there's some from Clint, and then there's a couple from Fred in here as well. This one here I got from Jack is from Highland Seed Source.
Okay. Let me get a close-up there. How is that one growing? Any basils on it?
Yes, it has a large basil coming up right here.
And it's never been gnawed back, has it?
No, this one's never been gnawed back.
Wow. And look how large those leaves are.
Yeah, they're very large leaves. Yep.
And so since this is south-facing, it does get some sun,
yep,
but not too much sun.
Not too much. The red bud kind of and the lilac kind of filter it.
Yeah. So all of the provenances you have here give you a really strong genetic mixture, probably among the strongest other than Clint and Jack.
Yes, yeah. Clint and Jack have shared a lot with me, so I have a little bit from each source now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is, by far, the most numbers of Torreys growing the farthest north.
Yeah, this is probably the most.
Yeah. Mike Heim up in northern Wisconsin has some growing, but not like this.
Yeah, I've getting quite the collection. Hopefully this fall and this spring, most of these will get planted out somewhere.
Yeah.
I think some I'm going to do at orchard planting, and then some I'll probably put in the woods as well, just to mix the genetics in with the other ones.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the plan for eventual seed production.
All right. Yep. Well, it's wonderful that, you've got the farm going, you got the farm, that your family tradition, and with the woodlot that you know all about.
Yep.
And able to plant the Torreys both in your home area and sun and in different conditions in shade in the woodlot, yep, and in different moisture conditions too.
Yeah, there's enough room for experimenting as well, so it all works together.
Right. All right. Well, Paul, so glad to be able to. Last time was 4 years ago.
That's right.
Got you again. A little bit more gray, but you haven't
caught. Little bit.
Haven't caught up to me. So, all right. Thanks, Paul Camire.
All right. Thanks a lot, Connie.
Okay.
Right, bye-bye.
Bye. This concludes episode 36 of the Torreya Guardians video series. You can access all the rest of the videos at my Ghosts of Evolution YouTube channel as follows. May the forest be with you.